Good morning, Patriots. JT Serenity Farms prepping here. So, I have said a few times that I do not believe Putin is who everyone is being led to believe that he is. I had heard over a year ago that there was a great probability that the White Hats, 45, Putin, and even Xi Jinping were working together on certain elements of things that are happening throughout this entire planet. Now, the reason that that is feasible, in my opinion, is China and Russia, just like the US, have many traitorous scumbags. As we know, almost all Democrats and some rhinos are bought, paid for, and controlled by the Chinese. Okay, so there's a deep state in every country as well as an overall cabal, undermining each country, trying to push all nations towards the Great Reset. And a NWO, which appears more and more that the N in NWO does not stand for New World Order, but Nazi World Order. And I'll show you a couple short videos that show me why I believe that. But let's start with way back after World War II. The U.S. powers that be secreted hundreds of Nazi scientists into the United States, supposedly for their minds. We wouldn't have the NASA program. Who knows what else we have because of Nazi scientists. Okay, so at some point we'll find out if that was all intentional to lead us to where we are now. But what are we seeing with the Ukraine invasion? Okay, we're seeing the president of Ukraine continually telling the Biden regime to stop spreading fake news, propaganda, show some documentation that everything the pedo administration is saying Russia is doing, show some proof that it's actually happening. And of course they haven't done it for Ukraine. They aren't doing it for us. They're just continually blaming Russia for everything that the Democrats are going to do to Americans. Cyber attack, grid down. Mayorkas, piece of crap, has stated municipal water supplies will be tainted. There will be a cyber attack. The internet will potentially go down. Certain parts of the grid could go down. And he actually said there's potential for a nuclear strike. Now these, in my opinion, are nothing that Russia is going to do. but everything that the Democrats are going to do to our country so that they can do everything to us that is happening in Canada right now. So why do I say Putin is not who we are led to believe that he is? For one, he's much smarter than the Biden administration. Russia's net worth, their GDP, extremely small. They can't afford to do everything that the Democrats say they want to do. Russia could have had Ukraine anytime they wanted during the Hussein Obama Satero regime, and they didn't. So we're seeing a whole bunch of explosions and rocket missile strikes in Ukraine, spread out across the entire country, including the complete other side of the country that does not even border Russia. Russia's on this side by the Black Sea down here. You'll see on the map. But a lot of the strikes you're going to see in a moment. Let's get to it. So, according to BNO News, Russia's defense ministry says it's using high-precision weapons to disable military targets, not targeting civilians, RIA. And that was February 20.
Some bioweapons installations. We'll be talking about that in just a sec. But I wanted to talk about the arrests that are going on now in Ukraine. And it seems that they are most likely arresting the neo-Nazis. Remember, this is about draining the swamp, getting rid of those individuals, the corrupt individuals inside of Ukraine. And we can see that the neo-Nazis, the deep state players, the swamp creatures, they're very, very nervous about this because they were caught destroying and burning documents near an intelligence building in Kiev. That tells you that they're panicking right now because everything that they created, everything that they put into place back in 2014, 2015 with the regime change is now falling apart. Now, the other thing that's very interesting is War Clandestine. Now, as soon as he put this out on Twitter, Twitter suspended the account, but it was saved in Threader. So we have the information right now of what he was talking about. And he says, I think I might be onto something about Ukraine. Zelensky said the Russians are firing at military installations. How broad is that term? I'm seeing speculation that it could include U.S.-installed biolabs. At first, I was like, no way, it can't be a biolab. And then started to look at all the places where the missiles were headed and what they were destroying. He said, first I checked if the U.S. even have biolabs in Ukraine. Turns out we do. And in classic U.S. fashion, it's marked as defense. Biological Threat Reduction Program in Ukraine, studying the most dangerous viruses in the world on Russia's border. Well, think about gain of function. Think about Wuhan lab. Now think about the biolabs in Ukraine. Let me continue. Okay, so we are studying the world's most deadly pathogens at Russia's border. It's just for defense. Not that big of a deal, right? Wrong. I don't know this until today, but Russia has been accusing U.S. of creating bioweapons at their border.
All right, now let's remember. Trump came into office 2016, Zelensky shortly thereafter. Zelensky is Ukraine's version of Trump, okay? Ukraine's borders have been wide open for many years before Zelensky got there. So any country that wanted to set up shop for nefarious activities in Ukraine, as long as they had some money, paid off the old president, in they went. And they had been set up munitions, ammo depots. And as you see, the U.S. Deep state, they have many biolabs there because the things they're doing here, they're not allowed to do in America. There's a reason for that. Okay, so let's remember Pelosi, Romney, John Kerry, and pedo Biden. All four sons have multi-million dollar interests in Ukraine, and they are all there simply to be paid off for their parents' collaboration and collusion. Not one of them is in a field that they have the slightest idea of what they're doing. But that's not what it's about. Pay off the sons to keep the parents in line, who all just happen to be Democrat-light politicians here in America. So, let's take one more look at the map.
And then C-19 got out and it ruined the world. So how does this pertain to Ukraine? Well, where in Ukraine are the explosions taking place? Here's a reported explosion in Luetsk. This is 75 miles inland in far western Ukraine, the opposite border of Russia. What does this have to do with Crimea, Donetsk in this east? Reportedly, Kiev has seen missile strikes as well at their airports and military installations. Kiev is also on the western side of Ukraine, also a city the U.S. government have confirmed the U.S. have built biolabs in. Putin also continues to call it a special military operation. Says he wants to demilitarize and denazify. Yes, that's the word he used, denazify. We'll be talking about that in just a sec.
Okay, so you heard a key word there, denazify. Putin, sorry about the light, it's actually getting light out. Putin understands completely what's going on. He wants to denazify, not occupy. And from what I understand, offered Ukraine and Zelensky some surrender suggestions, rules, offerings, and apparently they are currently negotiating. Now, if Zelensky is our version of Trump and Putin is working hand in hand with the White Hats, potentially even Trump and Zelensky, then these offers of surrender are face painting. Therefore, keeping the exercise alive, keeping the deep state, the Democrats, and everybody fooled while we're achieving what one of our goals is to eliminate the deep state in every country. Now, these bioweapons lab had to be gone because Bill Gates has clearly stated he's so disappointed in that last version that acted as the thing and cured everyone. Yeah, he's very disappointed because they need to come up with something else. And as we know, the Biden regime just extended the Emergencies Act for no reason whatsoever except to circumvent and do away with our Constitution. Pay attention, folks. You still need to go stock up and prepare as much as you can. We've maybe only got 2-3 weeks if the Democrats are going to commit all these atrocities against their own people. Cyber attack, grid down, maybe a nuclear detonation somewhere, tainting the water supplies. I don't think they'll do them all at one time. I think that they'll do one false flag after another to keep the mass hysteria, the fear rising so they can do a lockdown. Or they may just go all out. I don't know how really desperate they are. But you need to prepare right now because Russia's not going to attack us. Democrats are. I don't know exactly where this leads. I can't say I'm 100% right on everything I just showed you. I'm not the only one who thinks like this, but I think you all believe by now our biggest enemy are the Democrats in this country. Be safe. Please stock up. Like, share, subscribe, comment, notification bell. But for now, JT, signing off.